Wawner Strategies is a boutique communications agency here in Charleston that provides top-tier service to clients who want to take their business to the next level. Today, I talk one-on-one with the founder and CEO of Wawner Strategies, Kat Warner, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Kat Warner, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Needless to say, you are the founder and CEO of Wawner Strategies, which is a boutique communications agency that provides top-tier service for clients who want to take their business, obviously, to the next level. Let me ask you this, Ms. Kat. What's new? What's now with your agency?
We are in a period of growth right now. I worked for like a big global agency for agencies for the majority of my career. And founded my company about a year and a half ago. Since then, we started with a few clients. We have 15 now, I think. And we're really focused on, big national brands, or local Charleston brands looking for national exposure. So what's new is a lot. We just we signed on Volley Tequila Seltzer, which is a local Charleston brand. Just announced partial ownership with Alex Morgan, the captain of the U.S. soccer team, the women's soccer team. And we just started work with Bradshaw Bourbon, which is going to sit underneath the Sweetgrass Vodka umbrella, which is a current client of ours. We're starting work with Ibu Movement, which is a nonprofit that empowers women, female artisans in underserved countries and communities to sell their products in the United States for the money that they're actually worth. So that's the only nonprofit that we're working on at the minute, and a couple other irons in the fire. It's an exciting time for us.
Absolutely, and I know I've actually interviewed some of your clients for Quintin's Close-Ups right here. But let me ask you, what's the biggest difference from 1 year ago to right now when you think of your agency?
Excuse me. I think that the biggest difference is that we have a really clear focus. A year ago, it was me and Eve Boggs, who still works for me, just kind of taking whatever clients came our way. And it was mostly clients in the restaurant industry in Charleston, which is great, but like I had never done restaurant PR before in my life. So it's fun, and we still work with like some bigger restaurant groups. But now I think that we have a really clear focus on working with CPG brands, not just on their PR strategy, but their brand identity. And so we're working through a couple of those opportunities right now. And I think that I just like personally have clarity on exactly the kinds of brands that I want to be working on and working with. And we're a team of 5 now. So that's exciting. We've like tripled in size and have a really solid understanding of what our vision is for the company.
And, everybody knows that besides Quintin's Close-Ups, I do restaurant marketing for my restaurant group that I work for. But let me ask you, what exactly is your vision for Wawner Strategies?
It's a really good question. I don't envision Wawner Strategies being a big company. I like that we're boutique. I like that I'm involved in all of my clients' work. I think that my clients appreciate that too. I try to make time for everybody. I wouldn't be able to do that if we were a big company. Of course, I'm toying with the idea of getting to a place where the business is attractive enough to sell to a larger agency. But for right now, I think that like we still have room to grow, but not by that much. I think that like in the next year, I would like us to see us like laser focused. We've got the core team in place, and we are working with companies and groups and brands that align directly with our sweet spot, which is, CPG, national exposure, and just having I don't know, a broader perspective for businesses and in Charleston specifically that want to be known nationally.
What is your perspective of business and brands here in the Low Country?
When we moved to Charleston in 2020, I was immediately struck by the amount of female entrepreneurs in Charleston. I've never seen anything like it. Entrepreneurship in Charleston is a huge thing because there's not, I came from the DC market where we had a lot of government entities, a lot of associations. I worked on government clients a lot. We had close proximity to places like Philadelphia, and I worked on the Comcast account for several years. I think that it is so inspirational how the entrepreneur community in this town lifts each other up and hires one another. And I think especially in the PR community in Charleston, the women that own their own agencies have been so supportive of me, and I am so inspired by them and what they've done. I know you had Charlotte on the show. Charlotte and I are really good friends, and we try to get together every month for drinks or happy hour or dinner. So it's just it's a really friendly group of people. And I think that is true of all businesses in the Low Country. It's not sharp elbows. People support each other. People want to partner with each other. And it comes from a place of genuine support, not just PR or show. I think that it's a genuinely supportive community of entrepreneurs in this town. And I think it's really cool that there's so many female entrepreneurs in this town.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a redundant but basic question. What is the state of public relations?
It's a good question. I think that everything's, such a big part of public relations is things like social media or influencer engagement. And those things change every day. And I think that the state of public affairs is driven by how current practitioners are able to remain with how quickly things are changing in terms of best practices and the tools that we use, and the way that journalists prefer to receive pitches, and just the way what the clients are expecting out of a PR partner. I think that the more current we as practitioners are able to remain, the more relevant we will stay. And I think that answers your question. The state of public relations is always changing. It's up to us to keep up.
You want to keep up. So what trends are you currently focusing on right now?
A lot. I think that we're focused on obviously social media trends, what worked 6 months ago probably isn't working as well now. I think that the meta algorithm has turned everything on its head. And I think that I've heard that from the influencers that we work with, and certainly other agencies that work in the social media space. That's something that we have to constantly, keep up with. The influencer space, I think, is also changing dramatically and has been changing dramatically over the past year or so. I think that people are less interested in filters and folks that aren't being genuine. I think that like originality and truth and candidness is appreciated more than ever. And those types of people, I think, tend to be the most influential versus the people that have, you know, the perfect house and the perfect life and the perfect wardrobe and like, it's just, as a mom and as somebody that, like, you know, my background looks fine, but like yesterday there was a pile of laundry on this bed, you know, next to me. It's like, I know what real life looks like. And especially as a mom of young kids. And so I just like, I think that more and more people, myself and just the general community are, have been able to kind of like see through the depiction of perfection and gravitate more towards people that are sharing their genuine selves and their genuine lives and being more relatable to people that follow them.
Oh, I see that a lot on social media as well. But I notice it's probably another redundant question, Ms. Kat. But what are the client's demands and what are the consumer demands when you think of this realm of social media, besides what you just mentioned?
Client versus consumer demands?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that clients expect growth. Clients expect visibility. Clients expect originality, and a genuine understanding of their brand and their brand's identity, their voice. Like, it's always our goal to understand our client's business better than as well as they do, if not better than they do. So when we are developing social media strategy or social media content on our client's behalf, it's so smart that you would have thought that our clients were the ones actually developing the strategy and writing about their product or about their business. That's always our goal. Like, we don't want the consumer to feel like an agency is developing their content. And then that's a good segue into the consumer's demand. I think that consumers are getting worn out by advertisements and sponsored posts. Like, less and less are they seeing like their friends' content in their feed. It really has become a place for businesses and brands to be seen. So I think it's a tricky balance. We've got to create content that consumers actually care about and that they want to engage with, and that they don't feel like is like trying to sell them something, while also being true to, like, you know, trying to sell something. It's interesting, but when you do it right, when you do it in a less like pushy way and you do it creatively, you create this connection between the consumer and the brand that you know, encourages or empowers the consumer to like make their own decision. But if they feel personally connected to a brand, they're more likely to stay loyal to it. And that's what, as consumers, that's what we always, I mean, like, you've got me who's like a mom and a business owner, but like I have got 20 somethings working for me all over the spectrum. And you know, I think that like between the five of us, we cover a pretty broad demographic. We're all interested in different things. So we always try to put ourselves in the consumer's shoes. 8 times out of 10, we are the consumer. So that's like really the sweet spot, is when we're able to say like, I know what they're trying to say to me and my friends. And I know how me and my friends would react to X, Y, and Z. That's when the magic happens. That's when like we really can speak confidently to a point of view that we have about our clients' marketing.
Yes, ma'am. And I want to ask you something about what's really big right now in the whole PR world that might be taking over PR in just a second. But let me ask you this. When it comes to Wawner Strategies, who exactly is your demographic?
In terms of our client base,
Yes, ma'am.
I would say that two things. One, Wawner Strategies works with people that don't mess around. We work with people that have big, audacious goals and want to succeed from like a monetary perspective. We don't like, yeah, sure, we're their PR agency, but we are genuinely focused on our clients' business success. If our clients aren't seeing like revenue grow, they're not going to justify paying a PR agency. So like, yeah, like we have great relationships with journalists all over the country, but we don't like just stick to PR. We stick to whatever will work for our clients' business and help them grow. The other thing that I'll say is that our clients, our demographic, they want to work with people who are just like real people. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. I forgot about this interview, and I was sitting here. I have not prepared for this. I logged on, and I am just flying by the seat of my pants. And I think that you can.
Good job.
You're getting a feel for my personality and the way that I approach conversations. It's not like I didn't prepare for this interview, and I do prepare for my client meetings.
Sure.
But in a very conversational way. We just had a kickoff with a new client, and I had a new employee, and we drove together. She's like, so what's like the style of this presentation? Like, what are you looking for? And I was like, make it a conversation. Like, we are not presenting. This is like, these are real people. These are real people. These are real parents. These are, people with real lives. And so are we. And we all live in Charleston. So let's just have a conversation. I would say like, I've always been this way. I have always developed really close relationships with my clients. I feel like friendship among clients and their agency partners is sometimes frowned upon, especially at bigger agencies. For me, it is the number one most important thing, and it's got to be genuine. It's not just like, oh, let's go out for coffee or lunch because we have to. It's like, let's go out for coffee and lunch. Like, how's your kid doing, like, at their new school this year? What are you doing this weekend? What are your vacation plans? Where are you traveling? Like, I love to get to know my clients as people because it helps me understand the way that they work better. And the way that they, in terms of their expectations, they can be more candid with me. They can say like, hey, we've got some feedback, and I can say, hey, that's okay. Let's talk about it. Because we're all just real people. I think that our clients come to us because we're real. We're the same people over email as we are in person, as we are at a party, as we are at we are consistent. We are the same people, no matter how you're talking to us or where you're talking to us. And I think that level of authenticity is appreciated because consultants can kind of get a bad rap for being consultants and like just kind of, fake. And that's not us.
Ma'am, absolutely. And so obviously you've gotten to know your clients. So how do they actually work?
It depends on the client. It depends on the client. We have some clients that use like project management software. So we're, on the project management software with them, communicating project status and bouncing ideas off of them in their own dedicated program that they use. We have some clients that just love to see us in person, which we do. We have office on Sullivan's Island. I personally am all about in-person meetings. I think it's so important. I think that the flexibility of being able to work from home and to be able to do Zooms like this is great. But if you've got to see each other in person. Like, you've got to shake hands, you've got to give hugs. Like, that level of personalization is so true to our brand as an agency that I think that there's only so much productivity you can do over Zoom. So we encourage the in-person with our clients as much as possible. I guess the answer to your question is we tailor our working style to whatever our client prefers.
I've been watching this a lot on the news recently, and just a couple of hours ago, I didn't realize I was using it. But Ms. Cat, because I'm not a big fan of it, by the way, but how do you personalize your PR brand without having artificial intelligence involved?
I have never used ChatGPT ever. I think that it is so obvious when people do. And I think that everybody's saying, like, this is the way that things are going to work one day. I could not disagree more, just because what we do is so individualized and so tailored. Like, all of our new business proposals, we do not copy and paste a single word from one proposal to another. Everything is customized for exactly who we're talking to. And there is not a robot that can understand what's in my brain, like what I actually think, like what there is not, that it's not possible. And I think that, like, we would lose our edge if we ever even entertained that. I've seen emails that have been written from ChatGPT, and I'm like, this isn't you. Like, what, you use ChatGPT? It's like, it's so obvious. I think that more and more people value authenticity, and artificial intelligence does not provide that, and I don't think it ever will.
And in order to keep up with your edge for the next 5 to 10 years, how do you keep up with your competition?
I don't really know, at least in Charleston, that we have true competitors. I think that there are groups in Charleston, there are a lot of agencies in Charleston, and we all do things, we all specialize in different things. I love building brands. I love working with research partners on brand identities or a rebrand, or developing a new brand identity, whether that's a visual identity or a personal identity. I think that is like a different differentiation for us. There is a little bit of crossover, but I really don't think, like, I could sit here and name every single agency in Charleston, and I would be like, go to this person for hospitality, go to this person for restaurants, go to this person for interior design. I could say, like, these are the people that specialize in X, Y, and Z. I think that we're all really transparent with each other. Like I said, we try to get together once a month. For example, like, if I want a restaurant client, I would hear nothing but support from my competitors. I just don't think that, I don't look at the landscape, especially in Charleston, as competition.
So you're not looking at the landscape as competition. So what are you looking at as your competition?
I'm just trying to do my own thing. I'm not focused on competition. I truly support, I wrote a blog post about how inspired I was by the women that are in PR in this town. And that holds true. I am not focused on competition whatsoever. I would never poach a client from a group that I am friendly with. I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm focused on my own clients. I'm focused on my own growth. And I think that my growth is very different than any other agency in Charleston. Not that, like, I'm growing faster. Everybody's growing fast in Charleston. Charleston's blowing up. I'm just focused on different things.
Yes, ma'am. And where do you want to see your growth rate in the next 5 years with your particular agency?
in the next 5 years, I see us being a group of about 20. And I don't think I want to get any bigger than that.
Wow, wow, wow. We'll be watching all the good things that come your way, of course.
Thank
Kat,
you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Kat Warner with Wawner Strategies. Thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome.